Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video already scares me, honestly. So today we're going to be talking about some of the scariest TikToks that I've seen. I've been collecting these guys like frickin' Pokemon, and now my entire For You page is all ghost shit, which I don't like. It used to be cooking videos and like tarot card videos telling me that my ex that I don't have misses me. So I'm kind of upset that I should have used a burner account to find these videos. And also, I probably shouldn't be filming this at almost 11 o'clock at night. I think I might be a little scared. So I've only done this video like once before. You guys seem to really like it. I mean, I do TikTok conspiracy theories, but that's kind of just a whole different ball game. I don't like ghosts. You understand that people who are into conspiracy theories are typically into that as well. So that's why a lot of you guys love these style videos where you know, want to talk about some haunted shit. But I'm scared. There's been like a popular TikTok trend of different ghost stories that are actually real, or they're claiming that they're real. I'm gonna just say that I don't know if I believe them or not, but I'm choosing to like ignore it. Let's just get into the TikToks. I'm just nervous. On a lot of them I only watched like a couple seconds of the video and I was like, ooh, this will be good. So I just feel like I'm gonna get fucking jump scared, and I'm not really excited about that. So this first TikTok, I thought this video was super interesting.
Okay, so let's talk about the supposed vampires that live in New Orleans. Locals believe that the city is actually home to real living vampires. During the 1930s, brothers John and Wayne Carter were executed for committing multiple murders. About a dozen bodies were found, drained of their blood, after a young woman managed to escape the brothers' apartment. Sightings of these brothers are reported up until this very day because their bodies mysteriously vanished from the funeral vault. Why am I thinking of Stefan and Damon right now? Now fast forward to 1984, where 9 people were found around the French Quarter area, all with their throats ripped out. Paramedics and first responders were dumbfounded because even though the scene was gory, there was no blood. Also, vampire culture is majorly popular in New Orleans, but that must have stemmed from somewhere. The missing persons and crime rate is incredibly high around the French Quarter area. What if this is something more?
I have found this to be very interesting as of lately. I know I'm late to the trend, don't get me wrong, but I'm really into vampires right now. I just watched the Vampire Diaries for the first time, and now I'm on the originals, and honestly, I just am obsessed with the whole lore of it. I kind of want to do an entire video just dedicated to vampires. Is that lame? Oh my god. This is what the Twilight people felt in like 2009, I swear. But is it too late or lame to do that? I don't know, because I just think with any mystical creatures like mermaids, vampires, witches, I just do think that there is some truth to all of it, because it just, you know, it had to come from somewhere, and I don't think it was just somebody's imagination. And New Orleans being like very popular for vampires, and now watching the originals, like, you know, she says she's thinking of Stefan and Damon. I'm thinking of Klaus and Elijah. I'm like, that's them. Okay, this next TikTok confirmed that I don't want to have children. Actually, a lot of these TikToks do that, and we'll get into it. But this one scared the fuck out of me, because if you look very closely, it looks like there is a face and a child in the back seat. So they're just singing in this video. Obviously gotta mute it because copyright. But the freakiest part I think about this is that they're watching themselves in the camera singing the song, and one of the girls notices that it looks like there is a child sitting in the car seat. Like, she actually turns around and gets freaked out by this. I hate that. I actually really don't like that. People in the comments are like, oh, it's a shadow. Oh, it's a light trick. You're saying that if you saw that, you'd be like, okay, cool. No, I don't care. Shadow figures are a thing too, and I don't like them. All right, this next TikToker story scared the fuck out of me, so.
When I was 10 years old, I fell asleep downstairs by myself, and I was asleep on this little couch right here. I had been having some really weird dreams, and I don't remember what they were about. I just knew that they were weird. And in my dream, I remember someone saying, "We've been watching you for 3 months," which strangely enough was the amount of time that the dreams had been happening. So I fully woke up, and my cat was sitting on my lap, and I just started petting her, and then I realized she was looking at something behind me. And her eyes got really wide, and she jumped off my lap and ran out of the room. So I thought, oh, that was weird. And then I hear something behind me. So there's this part in our house that always creaks, but not many people know about it. So I heard it step on this spot right here. always creaks. So I turned around to look at the sound, looked up, and it was a huge black outline of a person.
I don't understand how this girl just lives and breathes in that house like nothing's wrong. If this happened to me as a 10-year-old, my parents would have never fucking heard the end of it. The fucking "we've been watching you for 3 months" is so creepy. I actually just keep thinking I see things in the background. So honestly, if you see anything, just keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself, okay? And I know not every 10-year-old can be like, "Mom and Dad, we actually have to move." And they listen to you. There's just no way I would stay in that house. I can't. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, this like spirit like wasn't menacing and like I felt, no. I don't think that there's any scenario where I would feel calm. And I think that's probably why my ancestors / like dead relatives just don't fuck with me, is because they're just like, I'm just gonna freak this bitch out. Like, she's not gonna be like, Grandpa. She's just gonna cry, annoy the shit out of her parents. So like, I'll just leave that be. And honestly, I respect them and thank them for that, because I don't need that. I don't need, you know, if you want to talk to me through the Long Island medium. That I'm okay with. Teresa Caputo, she makes me feel safe. No. This girl had a stitch that made my skin literally crawl. I hate it.
When I tell this story to this day, people do not believe me. When I was a freshman in college, I was going to a private school in Pittsburgh. I was leaving the next year. I was going to a different school. So my friends and I, some of us were leaving, some of us were moving, whatever. We decided we wanted to kind of hit all the different spots in Pittsburgh that we really liked. So we went to like Mount Washington. For those of you who don't know, it's like a really nice lookout over Pittsburgh. And there was a place near our school, and it was called the Fountain of Youth. It was essentially just like a well that people in the town used to go to when it was in use. So we went there. It was nighttime. It wasn't like midnight. It was like 9 or so. It wasn't super late. We went there, and the way that this well was set up, it was like carved. There was a piece carved out of a rock formation, and then you'd walk in and then get water out of the well inside of it. So the people who were like shorter or smaller, they went inside, and like I'm tall, so I wasn't gonna like go in there, but other girls were going inside and just like checking it out and seeing what it looked like. And the rest of us were standing outside, taking pictures, just like messing around, waiting, hanging out, you know, talking. The girls inside, one of them said, hey, I can kind of hear like rocks moving around in here. It sounds like there's something else in here. And we were all like, oh, okay, well, that's probably an animal, so just like come out. So as she's like leaving and coming out and saying like, I can hear something in here, the girls who are outside, me specifically, my phone died, turned off completely. It was at 70-80%. It was not anywhere close to dying. Turned off, died. Other girls' phones started dying. Then we heard a growl. And it did not sound like an animal. It sounded more like a human being trying to mimic what an animal sounds like when they growl. And we found this out later, that the girls inside the cave heard the same exact thing coming from inside the cave. We heard it outside in the woods. We all run and book it to the car. We get back. We're all like, we're done. That's it. Whatever. I'm going to take a shower. I'm changing, and I see in the mirror handprints on my shoulder. Like someone just grabbed it like that and left those prints. I tell everybody, check yourselves, because I just found this on myself. The one girl who was in the well lifts up her shirt. I look. She has 3 scratch marks down her back. I was like, nope, we're done. I started praying. I said, if there's something attached to us, get it away from us. I want no part of that.
So I quite literally hate that. And I think the thing that I hate most about that is actually the fact that her phone died at 80%, like 70-80%. That would immediately freak me out. Honestly, probably would have left and been on my way to Apple. Regardless, like, I just don't love that. Really not obsessed. If I saw that something had grabbed my shoulders, like, after I was taking a shower, after having like a ghostly experience, the only way I have like rationally to like react is that I would have to pass away, because that's so fucking scary.
It's taken me so long to tell this full story because it's genuinely one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me. So when me and my husband bought our first house, things started to get weird very quickly, but it took about 2 years before it all came to a head. The first thing that I noticed is every morning when I woke up, even though I had tucked all the chairs into the kitchen table, one chair was always in the same chair, was always taken out from the table and facing down the hallway, which was where all the bedrooms were. That happened for a while, and it took me a minute to pick up on the fact that it wasn't my husband doing it and my husband picking up on the fact that it wasn't me. Then I started to walk down the hallway like at night, and I would see the chair facing me, and nobody's sitting in it, but in the reflection of the like window right beside the table, there was always an old man sitting in the chair. One night I'm having a dream, a sleep paralysis dream, so I'm like awake but not really, and I see a shadow, a very tall, like 8 foot, very skinny shadow standing and leaning over my husband like this. He's sleeping. The next morning when my husband wakes up, I told him like, I saw the craziest thing standing over you. I don't mean to scare you, but I saw something. And he was like, stop, because I had a dream that I opened my eyes and there was nothing but like black staring at me. And then I told him what I saw, and like, I mean, you just like that kind of coincidence. A few months go by, and then we're sitting in the living room, and this is a house that was built in the 60s. So we had this like big bay window in the living room, and we were on an acre, and basically all of that acre was our front yard. And we hear scratching on the front window, on the outside of the front window. And it wasn't anything like a raccoon, or it could have been anything like that. We were still in a neighborhood, and that just wasn't something we often saw. I mean, the front porch was literally like this big. I wouldn't even call it a porch. So me and him get kind of like uncomfortable and weird. We're like, let's go back to the bedroom. We go back to the bedroom and we lay down, and all of a sudden we hear such a loud bang. We thought that both of our bookshelves, we had like 8 foot tall bookshelves in our living room with we collect old books and like all the old National Geographics. We heard them fall, and both of our cats went running to the back of our house. They came running under our bed. And so we slammed the door. We start kind of like game planning, like, what do we do? What do we do? We're thinking somebody's in the house. They just like busted our door down and the bookshelves fell, like something's going on. We get some protection and we go out to like see what's happening. Nothing was out of place. Nothing had fallen. Nothing. And we know we weren't crazy because our cats reacted. Then I had a baby and I brought her home, and babies always stare and do weird stuff. But one of my first viral videos was her staring behind me like this. I had her on my knees and she was looking behind me, and she's laughing and playing with something behind me. And as I pan the camera, you see white movement like right here. The video's on TikTok, so we can find it. I would say about a month after that, I was rocking her in her room at night. I was fully awake. I was not dreaming. I was not sleepy. Like, I'm full mom mode. I'm up. Her bedroom looked all the way down the hallway where that chair is facing me, as it has for the last 2 years that we lived there. And as I look up into the hallway, I see facing the corner, like looking into my bedroom, because her room's here and my bedroom's like here. So standing, looking into my bedroom where I'm in her bedroom, is a full-on hooved, extremely tall, horned demon. I immediately start praying. I immediately out loud start praying. And of course, this is at 3 a.m. So the next morning, I tell my husband, I saw something crazy. I'm getting out of here. And he said that he looked over on the monitor at about 3 a.m. and he saw something moving around in the bedroom. Mind you, this is when I was rocking her, and the monitor does not face the rocking chair. So I loaded up my baby. We went to a Catholic church, and I got christened. I got a christened cross, a christened blessing. I filled up a whole water bottle and 2 little Tupperware things of holy water. I had an entire, like, the cross hanging on the entryway of our house. I walked around. I had one of my Catholic friends come over and bless our home. I walked around dousing holy water and praying over the entire house. I bathed my daughter in holy water. I bathed her in holy water. That's how much holy water I got. They probably thought that I was insane. And then every night before bed, I would bless her head, and I would bless every single one of, like, me and my husband and every doorway in our house. After that, we never had another incident. To this day, it's one of the scariest things that has ever happened to me, and I still carry that cross around. It's about this big, but it comes with us no matter where we live, and it's always over the entryway that leads to our bedroom.
It's so cute that she was able to find solace in, like, getting a cross or, like, holy water. Personally, wouldn't have done it for me. I would have needed to burn the entire house down. All right, so this girl has a couple TikToks about her haunted house, and they honestly are terrifying.
Okay, so I'm just gonna come right out and say it. The creepiest thing ever, probably in the history of what has happened so far in my haunted house, officially happened last night. Officially, 100%. So far, nothing can top this one. So, my fiance and I were laying in bed, going to sleep. Great British Baking Show is obviously playing in the background. Nothing else can relax me more. And He's like, stop taking the covers, stop pulling the covers off me. Mind you, I'm pretty much asleep. I am not moving. I am a log at this point. So I scooch my boot all the way to the other side of the bed, so where we are not touching, there is no way he can tell me that I'm pulling the covers off of him. So he turns the TV off. We are now falling asleep in silence, and out of nowhere, literally nowhere, at the same exact time, we both hear, Mom, Mom. Excuse me, I am not a mother. We both heard it. We both heard it, and it was coming from the bottom, like where your feet are, like that part of the bed. So I'm literally at a loss for words. The only thing I do know is that around the 1920s, 1930s, there was a fire in this home, in my house, that a family was in, and I've read that they did not make it out. So
I know she goes on to say the theory that perhaps this has some relation to do with the fact that she lives in a house where there was a fire and the family didn't make it out. So maybe the reason that the spirit was saying mom was because it was a part of that family. That's, interesting. However, for me personally, the first thing I thought of was she has demon babies coming in the future. I'm scared. I literally think, oh, that's my ghost children talking to me, like, from the future, so I'm actually gonna go get my tubes tied. All right, this next story, again, just absolutely should be added to the list of that girl that makes a list of reasons not to have children, because what the fuck is this?
So I was babysitting for the first time this little girl. She's 3 years old, and it was gonna be at night because her mom works nights. So I'd be with her till like 2 a.m. and her mom told me, she's not sleeping lately. I don't know what's going on. She won't go in her room. She won't lay down. Whatever you need to do to get her to sleep, just try. I said, all right, we'll figure it out. So it was late, and there was no sign of her wanting to go in her room. I said, let's go lay down in your room. It was 11. I think 11:30. So let's go lay down in your room. She goes, no. I said, why? And she goes, the baby's crying. And I said, I have no idea. I didn't think anything of it. I thought maybe it was like a TV show she was talking about. And I said, no, let's go lay down in your room. So we went in her room, and she goes, the baby's crying. And so at this point, I'm like, what baby? What baby? And she pointed up to the ceiling, at the corner of the ceiling, and she said, right there. He's crying. He's sad. She said, I don't want him to cry. And I was like, I am freaked out. So first thing that happened. And I said, okay, let's leave. Let's go to your mom's room. So we went to her mom's room. And she said, the tall man's in here. And I, full body goosebumps. I said, what tall man? Where? And she pointed to her closet, and she goes, he lives there. Tall man. And I said, we're not staying in here. We're going into the living room. So we sat down in the living room, and there's a couch. Behind me is a big window. So I think I had the news on. I don't know what I was watching. She's sitting there, and she stood up and looked behind me and screamed. She screamed, and I was so I thought someone was outside. So I looked. I swear to God, I saw the tallest shadow. It was like a shadow figure, tall. And it looked like it just swooped past the window. And it looked like he was wearing a wide-brimmed hat. And I was so freaked out. And she said, Hat Man, as soon as it happened. Hat Man, Hat Man, Hat.
Don't like that. Apparently that is another thing that a lot of people have seen, a Hat Man. Because, in the search for this TikTok, it says Hat Man Explained, and I've experienced the Hat Man. He's real, he's evil. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know what that's about. So I'm just I'm not clicking on that. We're keeping on the baby train, and honestly, this girl had such a funny reaction to her kid seeing some sort of ghost, and it's probably exactly how I would react, if not lighting the house on fire.
What do you see? I don't like that. Who's there? Oh, I don't like that. It's scary. You're freaking me out. What do you see? What do you see? Oh my god, this is scary.
Why did it start crying? Again, house gone. All right, this next story freaks me the hell out. It would be one of those things where I just like, I actually don't know how I would even react to this because there's nothing to burn down.
This story starts back when I'm 5. I would always see this old lady in the upstairs window in a rocking chair, right? So me being 5, I didn't think anything about it. I'd wave to her all the time, you know. She'd wave back and it was whatever. And then one day my mom's like, who are you waving at? And I'm like, oh, I'm waving at that old lady in the window over there, right? So she's like, what old lady? I'm like, the old lady that's sitting right up in that window. She's in the rocking chair. She's wearing the white nightgown and, you know, has her hair in the rollers, you know. So like my mom goes white because apparently I described what this old lady looked like and what she always did to a T. And she died like 4 years before I was born. Fast forward until I'm about 12, right? And me and 3 of my friends are sitting in the backyard. You know, it's a summer day, ain't got nothing to do. And, you know, we decide we're like, let's go in the house. Let's see what's up about it. Because you would hear noises coming from there all the time. My friends are like, oh, well, let's go look around. I want to look in the basement. Again, I tell you, I've been watching scary movies from the hop. I'm like, I'm not going to the basement. Because the basement is where all the truly evil shit always is. And they go down into the basement. 5 seconds after they go down into this basement, I start hearing creaking upstairs. Like a rocking chair makes. You know, back and forth. And I hear dum, 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 dum. Like somebody's walking across the hallway upstairs. And then it's like, dum, 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 like somebody's running down those stairs. The door flies open. Okay? I feel like a gust go past me. The junk drawer that is open next to me slams shut. I'm out. Maybe 30 seconds, a minute later, my friends come out. Yeah, you see like in those movies where like people have trauma and they just kind of have that shell shock look. And I'm like, what'd y'all see down there? You're like, what happened? You know, the door flew open, the door shut, and I was gone, you know. They would not tell me what happened in that basement. I mean, never. Like, they wouldn't tell me that day. Like, anytime, you know, we were talking about it, like, years later, you know, I'd be like, yeah, so what did you guys see in the basement that day? And, like, conversation would just stop, you know? So, like, I never did find out. The real wild thing is, out of the 4 of us that went into the house that day, I'm the only one that is still alive. All 3 of them are dead. All 3 of them were murdered, not at the same time. In different incidences, years apart.
If I was his mother and my child was describing an old woman who used to be my neighbor that lived there and died there prior to my son even being born, I would actually lose my marbles. So then years later, him and his friends decide to explore the home. He goes on to say that he doesn't think anything is inherently creepy about their murders, but they were all 3 of them murdered separately, years apart from each other, and they were the only 3 that went into the basement, and to this day now, no one will ever know what the fuck happened in there. And many people go their entire lifetimes not knowing anyone who got murdered. The fact that this man knew these 3 people, and he was one of the 4 that were in the house that night, it's just, the coincidences are too crazy. All right, this next story really creeped me out, and it has a photo that I hate.
To give a little backstory, my brother worked at a sober house a few years ago, and the house that like everybody stayed at was super old. It was used by like soldiers in the Civil War or something, so it has like a ton of history. And one of the guys that was staying there, he always felt like something or someone was watching him when he was in his room. And he had like unexplained things happen in his room. Enough so where he set up a motion sensing camera. And one weekend he goes away. So there's nobody in his room. His door is completely like locked, closed. And he has no animals. So basically nothing could have set off this motion sensing camera, but it goes off and it takes this picture, and it's so scary. Like, there's a figure in the picture that to me it looks like the Grim Reaper, but nobody can explain what it is. And it's, let me show it. Okay, here's the picture. What the hell is that figure? Like, that is not a coat hanging or anything. It literally looks like someone walking or something walking. I think that like looks like a little face looking at the camera. And then like down here, you can see it's like kind of transparent because that like black stick is like a broom or something. And then it looks like his arms or his hooves or whatever the fuck those are like transparent. And it's like wearing a black cloak. Like, that is literally the Grim Reaper.
I like actually have to pause it before the picture because I can't look at it again. It was so... What is that? It's the Grim Reaper and I hate it. Now we got some creepy ghosties con film. Let's watch.
In this next video, a grandmother is celebrating her birthday while being surrounded by friends and family, all of whom are singing happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to you. As the video plays out, it seems that this footage is nothing more than just a normal video of someone recording their grandma, or at least it seems like that. Because as you continue to watch, something happens that makes this video the stuff of nightmares. This is what was caught. As everyone collectively sings, a shadow-like figure bolts behind the grandma. In a swift motion, the figure is gone. It rushes over at full speed, but not so fast that we can't discern what this was. As viewers have noted, it kinda looks like a child, or a girl to be exact, who's running at an inhuman speed. Perhaps it was running so fast that no one had noticed it except the camera. Now this video becomes a whole lot creepier when reading the description it came with. As it states, the grandmother in this footage had a daughter who unfortunately passed away many years ago. When she was alive, she would often run around the house while playing with her older sibling. It's for this reason that she believes that this was her spirit. But as always, you be the judge on what was captured. Was a ghost caught on camera, or had something else been caught?
No! I really don't like that. I really don't like that. We heard from this girlie earlier, so let's see what she has to say.
What I'm about to show you is genuinely one of the most convincing and terrifying video footage evidence I've seen of a ghost or whatever this is. Check it out.
For the fifth time I had watched the video, I noticed something in the corner of the room, which is actually my daughter's room. So I screenshotted it and I just zoomed in on it. My heart just dropped. I could feel my face, all the blood in my face ran. I mean, it just...
No.
It scared me. It just looked like somebody
closing my eyes.
I didn't sleep that night.
Here is a nice little screenshot of that in case you missed it. Yeah. That dude saw that in his house. Can you imagine seeing that? I would leave so fast. So fast. You would never, ever see me in that house again.
I actually, really hate that. And I hate that for a few reasons. The thing that I'm going to tell myself about seeing that is that, okay, this is fake. That's not real. This person manipulated that video. It was Photoshop, whatever. However, if this is something that happened to you and you knew that it wasn't Photoshop, how the fuck would you react? I would, again, burn the house down and probably pass away because I can't. How do you go on living a normal life knowing that that was real? That felt like a scary note to end this on, but either way, that is it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any creepy ghost stories that you know are true because they happened to you and you want to share them. Please let us know. We're gonna trust you here because I just trust people blindly. Actually, the other day I literally picked up a stranger on the side of the road in the middle of the night. That was so stupid. A man. He could have been Ted Bundy, but I trusted him. He was just lost. That's so bad. But that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.